Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chiranjit Mishra and today I'm going to present the news today news items for the date June 27th. There are 4 main news and 9 to 10 quick updates. As is customary, let's go through the headlines first and then we'll start with the first main news. Okay. There are many related news in the quick updates. Okay. Mostly related to regulations of food and drugs. So let's start with the first main news. 3-year vision document for narcotics control has been released by the Narcotics Control Bureau, which comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Before that, they have also shared an annual report for 2025. Next, we'll go through the MSME growth story for India, how the MSMEs are faring and how important they are from the point of view of Indian economy. Okay, so this is going to be very beneficial for all those who are going to write mains. Third, world's first nuclear heat-based hydrogen production facility has been opened in Kalpakam. We're going to use nuclear power, the heat generated from nuclear power, to produce hydrogen. Fourth main news is China expands Indian Ocean footprint by capturing over, you can say not forcefully, but Bangladesh was going to work in collaboration with India on a project, but now the project has been handed over to China. Quick updates. Quality Control Order 2026. Fixed dose combinations. Third quick update is Jan Vishwas Act reforms in health sector. Fourth is Operation Amistad. Fifth, Pax Silica Summit and AI Opportunity Partnership. India joined Pax Silica late, but now after joining it has also agreed to be a partner in AI Opportunity. Next, US, Israel, Lebanon trilateral framework. Let's see how is it faring, to what extent it's going to be effective. Next, Food Safety and Standards Act, FSSAI amendments. Next, Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. So you can see FSSAI, drugs, there are many regulations, they have been eased and some drugs have been, but mostly we'll see they are related to food and drugs. So that is one good point. We'll get a lot of opportunities to connect the quick updates. The second last quick update is about Arthashastra and the concept of equality. The last is Muzia or Mudia Kulam and Nangu Muji system, water conservation system, which has been inaugurated in Pondicherry. So let's start with the first main news, which is related to the NCB annual report 2025 and vision document 2026-29. So NCB is a body which has been established as per a particular section in a statute released by the Parliament 1985. Psychotropic Substance Act, Narcotics and Psychotropic Substance Act, but it is not a statutory body. Okay, it has been because there is no explicit mentioning of this body in that act, and that act provides for a body and or some sections are there using which the government of India through a resolution created this body called NCB. So NCB is basically a law enforcement body. Law enforcement, and it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs because it also provides and tries to derive intelligence, and as the name is suggestive, narcotics means those psychotropic substances which can alter the state of mind, okay, which is not very beneficial. Okay, and as you know, this is closely related to what we call drug addiction. Some medicines which have benefits, they are also misused. That also amounts to drug abuse. Okay. Now this report has been released by this particular body to show how drug cases or drug addiction cases have risen across the world and in India, and how this body has taken certain stringent measures to curb the same. At the same time, it has also shared a vision plan. Her body share karta hai ki what we're going to do or what we can do to tackle some emerging challenges in the future. That is what is contained in the vision document. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the report. Global drug users reached 316 million, 31.6 crore people in the world use drugs. Okay, across the world, not India. And in India, as you can see, we often see Urta, Punjab, Rajasthan. See, Punjab is infamous, but that doesn't mean other states are not affected. Many states are affected, especially those states which are close to the Pakistan border and Myanmar border. These two borders are responsible for majority of the drugs peddled through or trafficked. But many synthetic drug creators are also present in India, the domestic territory. Okay, so that also accounts for the same. Drug use up by nearly 30% in decade. That means if in 215 it was say X number of users, now 30% means 1.3x 2025. The growth is significant. Can anybody say why? What are the reasons behind? Of course, drug addiction is often seen among the youth, and youth or young people are more vulnerable because of several reasons. First of all, frustration, unhappiness, bad company. Okay, some of the youth who do drugs, they're also part of drug peddling systems. They also sell drugs. So easy money. You can note down these points for a main answer. Emerging threats kya hai? These are potential challenges. Now these challenges are amplified due to darknet. Now you can easily bypass the search engines and you can create or control your own drug cartel, okay, through darknet. Cryptocurrencies. See, whenever there is an anonymity or an element of anonymity in any system, although it is helpful, sometimes it's easy because it's not subject to excessive control, but it can be part of something dark. So cryptocurrency has this bad side also to it. Social media apps facilitate drug sales. WhatsApp, Telegram, they can also be, Telegram is very prone, okay, you know. Now, availability of new drugs, nitazines, which is 500 times more stronger than heroin. Heroin is addictive, this is 500 times more addictive. Kush, emerging synthetic drug cocktail, okay. So, these are the challenges, emerging threats. Traditional, I told you, why young people are vulnerable and amplified by these new developments. For this is important from the point of view of security in GS paper mains 3. You can say number of these figures you can memorize. Emerging threats and youth. And then enforcement achievements. We have also done something really well, taking into consideration our effective measures in the wake of the emerging threats. Registered 702 cases in 2025 against 417 in 2024. These are drug cartels and conviction rate is 52%. See, whenever somebody is selling drugs, that individual is always punished. Selling. Drug users, they are not punished. They are sent to rehabilitation center. Okay, because they are victims of or victimized by drug sellers or drug peddlers. These drug peddlers are called criminals and they are brought to the book. But users are often rehabilitated. Okay, we try to convince them, persuade them to stop using drugs. Understood? Technological interventions हो गया, मानस हेल्पलाइन 1933 पे आप कॉल कर सकते हो रिलेटेड ड्रग पेडलिंग और and cyber patrolling. Okay, that means the government officials or authorities, they also travel from website to website to check its authenticness and its activity related to whether whatever it's doing is fair or not. Okay, so that's it. Vision document. Now focus on the vision document. What else can be done in the next 3 years? Enforcement that combines intelligence and operations. Entire drug cartels. Cartels means syndicates. Number of drug peddlers or drug manufacturing companies working together. You must have seen Breaking Bad. Okay, or Narcos. If you haven't, then watch it when you're free, when the exams are over. Okay, Narcos is based on an infamous personality, Pablo Escobar, and it's a fiction. So in South America and Central America, there are several drug cartels. They traffic drugs and they try to victimize people in the US. So US authority has been very particular. So they have a federal agency called Drug Enforcement Agency. Okay, focus on transnational drug trafficking networks. As I said, India is very close to the Golden Crescent. Golden Crescent combines 3 countries to India's north and northwest: Afghanistan, A, Pakistan, and Iran, API. And Golden Triangle is another set of 3 countries. Golden Triangle. Often it consists of Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. sometimes Vietnam and Cambodia also. Okay. So secure maritime traffic routes, all the trafficking routes, airport, sometimes drug peddlers, they use innocent flight passengers, they put drugs in their bags without their knowledge, okay, and innocent people are also caught. Tighten land border security and demand and harm reduction, expand Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, reach 50 crore citizens and deploy 1 lakh Nasha Mukti Mitra. So Mitras are those volunteers who are going to support this cause. So you can take the steps taken also. You can write in your mains answer. A question came in 2024 mains. So again, you can expect in 2026 also, because questions are repeated. Okay, in general, especially in the mains questions, not the prelims questions as much. Explain how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious threat across the country. Suggest suitable measures to counter narco-terrorism. You can start with the number that 704 se ho gaya, rise ho gaya cases as compared to the previous year. Okay, 30% rise in the international user, and you can say briefly, because 10 markers, 3 points the reasons: unemployment, youth vulnerable, okay, then cyber threats, darknet, and then you can come to the measures. What are the various measures? You can mention the government measures, and you can also talk about collaboration between countries, okay. For example, US and Mexico. You can cite as examples. So because this class is not for mains answer writing, I hope you got some direction. The growth story of MSMEs, we have covered this theme several times. MSMEs. I would suggest memorize the facts, because in one way or the other, even if a question directly based on MSME is not asked, you can use the facts in your other answers. What if a factual essay theme is asked this time, unlike proverbial or based on philosophical? You can use the reason is June 27 today, so it's happy UN MSME Day. Okay, so MSMEs are very important from India's point of view, because these are small industries. If anybody wants to be a big entrepreneur, they can start at a small scale. So MSMEs are in a way good way to experiment new themes, new ideas, because it's not just cottage industries. You can also start with anything, any small manufacturing unit, because India needs to boost its manufacturing sector. So anybody who wants to experiment or tinker with his or her idea, they can take this gateway. So let's start with this point. It serves as the gateway for the first time employers, youth, women led entrepreneurs. Chote scale se start karna. And already there are so many entrepreneurs who are running MSMEs, micro, small and medium. A criteria is there, and it's always revised. We'll go through the criteria at the end. Okay. So let's take a look at the importance of MSME sector. The sector contributes to 31% of India's GDP, close to 1/3. Then 35% of India's manufacturing, MSMEs, okay, and close to 50% exports. If you don't remember the precise number, write in your answer, close to 50% of India's exports. And employment, nearly 40 crore people are employed in MSMEs. Employed means those people are working as workers or laborers, okay, or employees, not the employers. And this is the second largest employment provider after agricultural sector. Second largest employment provider. If you take a look at the Udyam portal registration, 8.7 crore people have got registered as entrepreneurs. This is the number of the entrepreneurs, and 40 crore is the number of the workers. And it has been possible due to so many steps taken by the government, starting with Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Okay, it has completed 25 years of operation. That means funding. MSME Samadhan portal. It's not funding. It's about those court cases or complaints lodged against MSMEs. But we need fast disposal of cases. Nearly 60,000 cases have been disposed. Otherwise, if a company is entrapped with some sort of, some legal angle is there, it becomes difficult for the company to run in a full-fledged manner. Okay. What are the other steps? PM Vishwakarma provides end-to-end support to artisans and craftspeople. Again, MSME. That means labor is skilled. Aspire scheme to promote entrepreneurship and livelihood generation in rural areas. Aspire scheme, PM Vishwakarma, MSME Samadhan portal, and this. Remember these points. They can say what has been done because of which MSMEs are growing at a fast rate in India. And the SRI fund, it's a fund of a fund. That means if you are lending to MSMEs, this fund is for you, the lenders. It's called fund of funds. And scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries like, say, textile. Okay, it's called Sfurti. So let's take a look at the criteria set by the government. Which industries can be called, because UPSC is asked before in the prelims exam. Micro enterprise investment up to 2.5 crore agar investment hai, is the investment, and turnover is 10 crore. Both the criteria have to be met. Okay, say 1.75 hai uska investment and 8 crore, that will be a micro industry. Small ke liye, this is 2.5 se bada hona chahiye, but less than 25 investment, and turnover should be greater than 10 and less than 100. Okay, medium ke liye, the largest category, the same is up to 125 and 500, और इसका हो गया ये 25 से 100 तक. Okay, earlier the criteria were different when we started with, because I think it was 1 crore, this was 5 crore, something like that. Okay, now they have revised. So this factor has been raised by 2.5 times, and annual turnover has been increased by, multiplied by 2 times. In prelims exam, this question came. According to the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Act 2006, the original act, the medium enterprises are those with investments in plant and machinery between rupees 15 crore and 25 crore, as per the original act. Now we follow a different thing. Okay, now we follow, if you remember, it's 2.5 to 10 crore. Okay, I'm sure, I think 2.5 to, I think it's, just a second. Now it's above 2.5 crore. Okay, but that time it was 5 crore se leke 10 crore tha. Sorry, it is medium, largest category. That means 125 se leke 25 crore. Earlier it was 5 to 10 crore. Earlier, original act. So the question says 15 se 25 crore. No, wrong. It was 5 to 10 crore. So it's slightly factual in nature. You can remember the present table. You cannot think about the old tables. Okay. Second, all bank loans to the MSME qualify under the priority sector. Here, even if you don't have any idea, focus on all. No, only those which are involved or engaged in manufacturing or food production. Okay, so neither one is. The third news is something that India has achieved, and it's a first of kind thing in the entire world. It's about producing hydrogen using nuclear power, but not electricity, using heat. Okay, as you know, what exactly is done in a nuclear power plant, that particular place where neutrons strike U-235, they produced more neutrons and heat, and the neutrons again hit another fissile atom, and it keeps producing heat, and the heat is used to produce steam. Steam se turbine घूमेगा, and then mechanical, it has an extended arm, mechanical energy se it will produce electrical energy. So what if we use this heat from here, and not very high temperature, 500 degrees Celsius tak ka heat jo hai, okay, we're going to use somewhat like a catalyst called copper chlorine. Even if you don't remember the name, don't get confused or get overwhelmed by the terms. इसी heat को, when it is produced in the nuclear power plant, what if we used copper chlorine catalyst? You know what are catalysts? We also use, it's a technical term, at the same time used in everyday language. Anything that boosts or triggers or something, or increases the rate of something, that is catalyst. So copper chlorine catalyst sort of thing ke presence mein, H2O can give you hydrogen plus oxygen. You can balance the reaction. This is the technique that we have achieved and we are feeling proud about. हमने ये किया है. एक nuclear power plant which is used to generate electricity, of course it is going to generate electricity. At the same time it will be used to produce hydrogen. Okay, not using electricity but using heat. And you can closely call it pink hydrogen. You must have come across green hydrogen, gray hydrogen, which is the most common type of hydrogen produced in India using fossil fuel. This is pink hydrogen because we have used nuclear power. Understood? Let's quickly go through it. Department of Atomic Energy today inaugurated the world's first hydrogen producing or production facility based on copper chlorine thermochemical cycle. This is the news you have to write. What India has done in the field of clean energy, you can write this as an example. Again, important from the point of view of GS paper 3. You can put it under science and technology, example, or environment. Applicable both at both the places. Example is cite karna hai na? Clean technology or clean energy. Located at Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research Center, Kalpakam, and both BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, and this Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, they collaborated to produce this. Basically, this served as the power plant or the thing provider, and they created the technology called copper chlorine. Heat from the fast breeder test reactor. These are those reactors which produce more neutrons than they consume. And CuCl thermochemical energy developed by BARC, technology demonstrated for the future large scale. Now this has been done at an experimental level, but scientists and engineers are very happy. We can also commercialize it. If it is done, India will be one of the leading clean energy users. We are already focusing on nuclear electricity, but now we can also generate hydrogen using clean electricity or clean heat. Significance: operates at low temperatures. So low means not 0 degree or 10 degrees Celsius. It is 500 degrees Celsius. But you'll say 500 degrees is very high. But at the nuclear scale or this scale, 500 degrees is very low. 0 to 10 matlab hota cryogenic. We are not using cryogenic here. The temperature is very high, but for a nuclear reactor it is not that high, 500 degrees Celsius. You know at what temperature fission reactions take place or fusion reactions take place? Millions of temperature, millions, okay? First of its kind, India's technological competence, role of nuclear energy beyond electricity generation. This is the most important line. And Atmanirbhar Bharat. We can rely upon our own energy sources. Next, it's very important from the point of view of GS paper 2, and in a way it's a setback for India's diplomacy. I would say China-Bangladesh agreement on Mongla port. Mongla port is a port in Bangladesh, and it was decided way back, I think many years ago, that India is going to provide engineering solutions and India is going to provide technical expertise for the development of this port, just like Chabahar port in Iran. But Bangladesh said there has been some delay, non-commitment, and because of it, it handed over the responsibility to a Chinese state-owned company. So हमारे साथ धोखा हो गया एक तरह से. China plus Bangladesh. And as you know, China has been targeting ports. Hambantota ho in Sri Lanka, okay, या फिर Djibouti हो, it's a country and a port, okay, या फिर आपका Gwadar ho, it is focusing on ports. As you know, it wants to connect. So this is just like a pearl string. This is called string of pearl theory, as proposed by a US global strategist. इनका नाम है Booz Hamilton. They may ask, what is the Chinese string of pearl theory? They have asked in the past also. So this is a theory which China, of course, doesn't agree with. कि हम लोग, we don't have any such theory that we want to create a string of pearls to encircle India and all its strategic rivals. Because if it has access to ports, it can get its warships easily refueled in case there is an emergency. And as you can see, Hambantota हो या फिर मोंगला हो, क्यायुक्प्यू हो म्यांमार वाला, ठीक है, जिबाउटी हो या ग्वादर हो. These ports have been acquired by China. And now this is something that India was going to get involved in, but Bangladesh decided to change the collaborator. India से China हो गया. That is why it's a diplomatic setback. China to develop Mongla economic zone. Mongla is in Bangladesh. If it's asked in the prelims exam, Mongla is in Bangladesh. It replaces earlier India-backed project. See, यहीं पे हमको कुछ धोखा हुआ है. Linked to China's string of pearls, Mongla, Bangladesh's second largest seaport. पहला वाला है आपका चिटागोंग. Located 188 kilometers from Kolkata. Okay, because that shows the strategic importance or implication. Close to ecologically sensitive Sundarbans, and major part of Sundarbans comes under Bangladesh's control, but it's close to India Sundarbans, of course. Implication क्या क्या हो सकता है? Of course, it goes without saying, security or strategic concerns. Greater Chinese presence around India increases maritime strategic encirclement, which is your string of pearl. Encirclement मतलब सर्कल किए जा रहा है by acquiring all the major ports, वो चाहे लीज पे हो या being in collaboration. Creates potential two-front security challenge. Risks disruption of energy supplies, expands Chinese footprint in the Indian Ocean. These are the challenges you can memorize. I mean, you cannot easily understand. There's nothing to memorize. The Chinese string of pearl framework, it was a geopolitical strategy coined by US analyst. His name was Booz Hamilton. This is something India strongly believes in, and the US and all Chinese rivals believes in, but China does not believe in this theory. वो बोलते हैं हम तो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट के लिए ये सब काम कर रहे हैं. Of course, it will never reveal its real strategy or not name it. Closely related to Belt and Road Initiative, extends across Indian Ocean region. इतना काफी है प्रीलिम्स के लिए मोंगला पोर्ट. And for IR related questions, you can cite this as a recent development, कि how India has to be more cautious about its neighboring countries. Quick updates. Quality control orders. Now this may seemingly be a scary thing, but it's for economic development and promoting growth, especially when there is an economic crisis owing to the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz. Although now a deal has been signed for the next 60 days, still it's very uncertain. So many companies, as you know, there is a domino effect. Okay, domino effect bhi hota hai. When one industry is affected, many other industries are simultaneously affected. Quality control orders बोलता है strict quality maintenance of the manufacturing products have to be there. But now those orders have been made lax. Lax मतलब थोड़ा हल्का कर दिया गया है. For certain sectors like shoes, या फिर हो गया toy making, and certain electrical appliances also. Whenever there are compliances, businesses suffer. जहाँ पे compliances होगा, ये comply करना है, वो करना है, businesses are always afraid. जैसे कि okay, ये another paperwork. So now that has been eased. The government has said, especially DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Internal Trade and Industries and Internal Trade, कि अभी आप self certify कर सकते हो. Suppose I'm manufacturing toys may contain some toxic materials, but now as per the government order, with some restrictions, I can self-certify that the toy that I'm manufacturing is safe for use. Okay. So this much freedom has been given. The government says that doesn't mean you're going to use harmful content to manufacture toys, but we trust your words. It's called self-certification. Okay. And also, if a material has been manufactured by a slightly dubious company, it has got some leeway this way. उसके product भी आप use कर सकते हो if it's used as raw material. थोड़ा सा, and only in certain sectors, not all the chemical sectors or the important strategic sectors. Toy making हो गया, certain electrical appliances and shoes, footwear. Quality versus quantity optimization. ये क्यों किया? Because now ease of business is required, ease of doing business is required for the growth of production or to promote production. If there are so many compliances, production will be affected, quantity will be affected, and of course, when production is affected, companies go for retrenchment and employment is also hurt. So quality को थोड़ा बहुत हम पीछे रख सकते हैं to promote quantity. Relief introduces flexible risk-based compliance, permits sourcing from scheme to licenses. Scheme to licenses मतलब scheme 1 वही होता है high grade, scheme 2 मतलब low grade. उनको भी थोड़ा सा मौका मिल गया है कि even if your products are not first rate, still they can be used in the market. Scope covers toys, ACs and footwear. Next, 16 fixed dose combination drugs banned. Fixed dose combination drugs are those drugs which are available over the counter. OTC drugs ऐसे होता है. Suppose you have fever and you always go for paracetamol. This is the chemical. But say the drug's name is XYZ. It has paracetamol, at the same time it has some antihistamine also. And it has some other combination. You want paracetamol, but आपको दवाई खाने में मिल गया XYZ because it has some paracetamol. But it also has some other chemicals which your body doesn't need. You just have fever. So fixed dose combination drugs means there is this particular single drug but several APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. ये बहुत सारे हैं, ये 1, 2, 3 करके बहुत सारे. Your body needs only one, but because this tablet contains several other chemicals, you have or salts, you have to consume it. Now this is harmful for your body because you don't need all the other drugs. That is why it has been banned. Ban has been issued under section 26A, Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. Again, this is related to quality. The first one is also related to quality. Expert review found no therapeutic justification कि एक ड्रग में इतने सारे क्यों होने चाहिए. जरूरी नहीं कि अगर किसी को बुखार है, he may have stomach pain and not cold. So why does he need antihistamine? Covers antibiotics, painkillers. आजकल तो antibiotics के साथ भी आते हैं. There are other, anti-gastric medicines. Dermatological and anti-diabetic drugs. Aims to improve patient safety and rational medicine use. इसको नजर में रखते हुए. Jan Vishwas Act reforms in health sector operationalized. Jan Vishwas reforms were again taken for ease of doing business. कि companies for their violation should not be immediately punished. They can be given warnings and the penalizing criteria can be just made slightly less tight so that the companies out of fear don't stop being in the market. ठीक है, तो ये reform जो है, it was there to promote the growth of the companies and in health sector it has been implemented. Under again Drugs and Cosmetics Act, I said there is some similarities in the quick updates. Also covers Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. इसके तहत minor offences replaced with monetary penalties. आपको अगर कोई छोटा मोटा violation हो गया और you're a first time offender, you don't have to directly go to jail. You have to pay a monetary amount, a sum of money, and you'll be free. You'll be given a warning. If you repeat it, then second offenders or repeated offenders will be booked. Serious public health violations remain criminal offences. ये तो रहेगा अभी तक. ऐसा नहीं कि इसके तहत because some rules have been made lax, that doesn't mean serious offences will be simply given a clean sheet. No. Minimum residual shelf life. This is again related to drugs. अब इसमें क्या है? Don't get confused. Shelf life मतलब क्या होता है? कितने दिनों तक ये रह सकता है? Otherwise it has to be disposed. Suppose I am selling a milk packet and it has 15-day life. और मेरे सप्लाई करते से लेके because once it leaves the factory, it has 15-day life. But it will go to factory, then it will go to somebody's, not warehouse, some storage center, temporary storage facility. Then from there to the distributor, then a retailer. By that time, already 7 days have passed. तो उसका life कितना बचा है और 8 days. When it left the factory, the shelf life was 15 days. But now, because of this long procedures and the long logistics, only 8 days are left. So, of course, the producer will also be very sad and only 8 days are left. If those 8 days में 6 दिन में चले गए, nobody is going to buy that product. It will go waste. People will see the label. So that when happens in the case of drugs, essential drugs, which are life-saving drugs, a lot of drugs, expensive drugs are wasted. So the government has said a 12-month का कर लेते minimum. In the case of drugs, अगर किसी का 3 साल expiry date है, 3 years, वो चलते चलते मान ले 1 साल कट गया to reach the last chemist. Only 2 years are left. Nobody is going to buy that, or maybe in 2 years, if it's not able to sell it, it will have to dispose. Similarly, 2 years का, for example, 8 months भी हो सकता है, 9 months भी हो सकता है. There can be different validity periods. The government has said there will be a blanket 12-month. जितने भी drugs आएंगे, the shelf life should be 12 months. If it was earlier 8 months, because sometimes the products are still good, but because of the expiry date, nobody buys it. I know it carries some amount of risk, but the government must have done some research and a lot of people must have put their heads together to come up with this new rule. Okay. But biologicals and radiopharmaceuticals, for example, vaccine ho gaya, there if it's spoiled, it will be disposed. Only certain drugs, for those drugs, the shelf life has been increased. And it's a blanket 12-month thing. Sorry. One important thing. Previously, it was 60% of the shelf life. Replaces 60%. Agar 12 months ho gaya, 60% iska kitna ho gaya? You can say 7.2 months. Within these 7.2 months, you are supposed to use it. But now, it is blanket 12 months for all the drugs. So the shelf life has been in a way increased to reduce wastage. FSSAI relaxations, again, food business regulations simplified, licensing and registration process streamlined, reduces unnecessary compliance burden. And again, you can relate it to the Jan Vishwas reforms that have been taken for both drugs and FSSAI, because FSSAI also comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and it's a statutory body, remember. Okay. Operation Amistad, because of the unfortunate earthquake in Venezuela, in hundreds and maybe the death toll may rise to 1,000, so many people have died. As a good gesture and as a big supporter of humanitarian efforts, India has sent its mission under this particular name called Operation Amistad. Okay. So, and Venezuela's official name is Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, just like it's called Republic of China or People's Republic of China. People's Republic wala hoga PRC, the real China, and Republic of China is Taiwan. Similarly, Islamic Republic of Iran. These are their official names. Venezuela is the informal name and the main name is Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. तो वहाँ पे 2 इंडियन एयरफोर्स के एयरक्राफ्ट पहुंचे हैं विथ 35 टन्स, मतलब 35,000 kgs के रिलीफ मटेरियल लेके. ओके. एंड वेनेजुएला के बारे में if you ask me, it's slightly above the equator, situated 0 degree 38 minutes, close to zero, and one of the northern South American countries. Still in South America, but northern South American countries. Next, AI Opportunity Partnership under Pax Silica. Pax Silica and both the partnerships are led by the United States. Okay. So Pax Silica was something, it was announced in December 2025. Pax means peace. Silica means silica or silicon chips. Because China has been taking leverage of its manufacturing capacity and capability. If something happens at China, as you know, it's a rival for many of the countries, including US and India. So the entire supply chain will be disrupted. That's why US said, let's make a grouping of 8 countries in the beginning. Okay, many countries from Netherlands, Europe and all that. India was not invited, but India later joined in February 2026. And under this PAX means peace through silicon availability. India is going to be a part of trusted AI supply chains because of this AI Opportunity Partnership. Okay. So if question is asked related to AI, which is there is a fair chance in GS paper 3, talk about these steps taken by the Indian government, being a part of, no doubt India has India AI mission, then we have India Semiconductor Mission 2.0. This can also be cited as an additional point. Good point. Trilateral framework, US, Israel, Lebanon. I don't know to what extent this framework is important. It is important, but it may seem temporary because of the negotiation going on between US and Iran at one front. Then Iran is saying only this US-Israel versus Iran war is not the only front. There is another front called Lebanon, because Israel is targeting the Hezbollah group, which is housed in Lebanon, and so much destruction has been done. That is why US, Israel and Lebanon, another Mediterranean country, they have signed a deal. Aims to improve border security and stability, encourages dialogue and conflict de-escalation. Because if this front is taken care of, maybe Iran can also be appeased. Okay, because Hezbollah is Iran backed, but that is why this is the other front which needs some serious attention. Arthashastra conceptualized equality. This is a statement given by the current Chief Justice of India. He said, everyone believes that equality or basic rule of law came into being through Magna Carta in Britain, which happened in 1215, when King John was forced by certain elites, barons, to sign the document which said even king is subject to law. King is not above the law. So in a way, it's of course it directly supports rule of law, not rule of king, and then also equality. A king, just like the commoner, is also subject to law. ये हुआ था 1215 में. हमारे सीजे बोल रहे हैं कि कौटिल्य के अर्थशास्त्र में भी ये मेंशन्ड है. So this is something is not new. It is mentioned in Kautilya's Arthashastra. It discusses governance, justice, and rule of law. Important source on ancient Indian polity. That means ancient Indian political thoughts do matter. Not everything has been borrowed from the West. Muzia or Mudiya Kulam, it's a Tamil word, I guess. And sometimes you see in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, this ZH can be misleading. It's not za, it's sometimes pronounced as da. Mudiya Kulam, I guess so. So, Finance Minister inaugurated, restored Mudiya Kulam because Finance Minister is from Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry is a union territory, or sorry, it's currently called Puducherry. And it's an enclave inside Tamil Nadu. So, this Mudiya Kulam is traditional water conservation. So, water can be conserved using the traditional techniques associated with this village administrative system called Nango-Mudi system. It supports groundwater recharge and irrigation. All you need to know is that in prelims, if this question is asked, Mudiya Kulam kya hai? Traditional water conservation system. That's all for today's news today. So, see you again and wish you all the very best for those who are preparing mains. 6 questions will appear on a screen. Do take them and try to make the most of Vision as digital current affairs.